Hello, everyone, and welcome to Globe Summit. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate 10 years of Boston Globe Documentary Film Festival. I'm Loren King, and I've had the honor to moderate many of the, I think since the very beginning, Lisa told me I was involved right from the beginning moderating some of the films in GlobeDocs. So I'm thrilled to be here today talking with Lisa Viola, and she's the festival programmer. And we also have Erin, Trahan, filmmaker, and Jeff Schmidt, filmmaker. We'll be hearing from all of you later. But Lisa, I'm going to start with you. 10 years is a long time. I'd like to hear a little bit about the origin of the festival and how it started and what it's been like over 10 years.
Sure. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you, Loren, and I'm so happy that Erin and Jeff are both here. We'll hear from them in a few minutes about some exciting announcements on their side. So back in the beginning, again, this is our 10th year. Our festival is coming up in next month, October 22nd to the 27th. And way back when, I'd say about 11 years ago, Linda Henry, the CEO of Boston Globe Media, reached out to me to ask if I would be willing to curate a film festival, specifically about documentaries. And I have a long history of programming. I've been programming festivals for about 30 years. And I said, that sounds really exciting. And I think Linda was mostly interested in doing it through the Boston Globe and here in Boston, just because Boston has such a rich history of documentary film. Documentary filmmakers, a lot of them are, spread out throughout this area. And she really wanted to sort of tap into the fact that Boston is a cornerstone for documentary filmmaking. And so we started, back in 2015, and we came up with a slate of films that we screened at the Coolidge Corner Theater in Brookline and the Brattle Theater in Harvard Square. And we are still screening at both of those theaters. So I'm very happy. We've moved around a little bit at some other venues as well, but those are really our two core independent theaters that we love to screen at. So it was, it was a great opportunity, again, to bring audiences, filmmakers, convene them together. And then something that's really special about the GlobeDocs Film Festival is that Globe journalists moderate each Q&A. So filmmakers come to town, or local filmmakers join us. And like I said, those films have a Q&A afterward where audiences can ask questions, but they're really thoughtful Q&As that are engaged by the Boston Globe journalists.
I have always marveled at how there's national filmmakers, international filmmakers, and great local filmmakers, as you just said. That synergy has made this festival really stand out, I think, for audiences. So,
thank you. Yeah, it's a balance. I feel like documentary filmmaking is obviously has many types of films, genres, all types of stories, but we try to balance it again with local filmmakers, which we have two with us right here, and we have a long tradition of inviting filmmakers to come back to the festival. So, for instance, our first year we had a film directed by Peter Gallison and Rob Moss, who are two very prominent Boston filmmakers. And this year, Peter Gallison is joining us again with a short film that he's going to be screening in this year's festival. So we really do like to, bring people back. We also like to have, a host of new filmmakers each year that will join us, and again, from all over the world. So we're fortunate. Everyone wants to come to Boston and talk to the Globe. So it makes it easy.
Okay, we're going to talk more about this year, but let's talk with Erin and Jeff, who have the opening night film. It's called Dukakis, Recipe for Democracy. And it's about former Massachusetts governor and former Democratic presidential candidate, Michael Dukakis. Talk a little bit about just, again, the origin of the film. Erin, let's start with you, and then Jeff, you can tell us how you became involved as well. But how did it start? He's got such a great story. I'm surprised there hasn't been a film before.
Totally agree. Jeff and I had worked together and thought that we wanted to make a project together, and Jeff had a ton of ideas, and it was 2016, verging into 2017, and Michael Dukakis seemed especially interesting again. Jeff had filmed him in the past, and that experience stood out to him. And we just thought, what is he up to? And we wanted to find out. So,
Yeah, the governor is just a fascinating character. He's just so intellectually curious. I had filmed with him at Northeastern probably, I don't know, between 15 and 20 years ago. And he had this very just sort of, tucked in the corner of a building sort of office, very modest, unassuming. We were talking about bioenergy, and he relayed that he was working on his own biofuel experiments in his backyard. And, he was just a very interesting, down-to-earth person. And, to think that he had been, the longest-serving governor of Massachusetts and that he had run for president, it just seemed like he would be a really interesting person to get to know even more.
And you both have deep roots in the local film scene. How did you come to collaborate?
Great question. We live near each other on the North Shore, and Salem Film Fest is something that I had been involved with as a jury member and as an audience member, and covered in the film journalism that I've done over the years. And Jeff is the programmer emeritus.
Well, I'm the programmer emeritus now. I was
Right.
the program director for many years. And, Erin and I just kind of got to know each other. She had been on a number of juries. She had done, Q&As. We're both from the Midwest originally, so maybe there was some sort of, synergy, although she's Michigan and I'm Ohio, and we kind of know how that goes. But this time it's actually we've collaborated pretty well.
Yeah.
I was struck by one of the themes that emerges in the film very clearly is former Governor Dukakis' mentorship to younger people, people who weren't even born when he served as governor or ran for president in 1988. Did that emerge, or was that a choice you made from the beginning? How did it evolve? Because that was very powerful.
So, when you're filming a documentary, you have ideas about where the story is going to go, and then you have things that just sort of float out, and you kind of try to catch those butterflies, and try to figure out what's going to make a compelling story. Certainly filming at Northeastern, we saw some of his students, and there was that curiosity of, has anybody kind of gone on to higher office? And after a period of time, we realized that the undergraduate assistant that we were constantly, sort of making plans through, Juan Gallego, was on sort of his own journey into public service. And, we realized, he might be somebody to kind of focus on.
Yeah.
I think, too, in talking with Governor Dukakis, it was clear that part of his life, his career in teaching, was really important to him. And he often, would say over and over again how much it meant to be kind of ushering that new generation into public service. And so it came up from him, too, that's just something he's incredibly proud of, is inspiring young people. So, yeah.
And there's a scene in the film where he's just in the hallway and kind of shooting the breeze with, with his students, which, you think about, does that happen very often?
Right.
He's just a very approachable guy.
Yeah.
Lisa, this is the opening film this year.
It is.
Do you just want to talk about a little bit about how people can see it later, or will there be an opportunity to see it other than the opening night of the festival, or how people can access
People
the whole
should
program?
join us for opening night.
Of course.
That's the nice thing about our film festival is it's very accessible. Tickets will be on sale next week, and they're available at the website, which is globe.com/filmfest, and that's where you get all the information about the festival, ticketing, more descriptions about the films. So this film is our opening night film. It will be screening in the big house at the Coolidge Corner Theater, which seats about 440 people. So we're hoping to have a wonderful crowd. We have, we're very hopeful that Governor Dukakis will be able to join us at the screening. So our honored guests, as well as Juan Gallego, and the filmmakers will be there with us, of course, to answer questions. So again, it's, sometimes film festivals are thought of as something that's only for the elite or, kind of privileged. And, our festival makes it incredibly accessible. We really encourage people to join us for, as many films as they can. We have an all-access pass. We also have individual tickets. Tickets are very reasonably priced at $15 for tickets. So, again, hopefully not a barrier to join us. Then, we'll also be screening films, like I said, at the Brattle Theater. Our closing night film this year is a film called Zorowski versus Texas, and it's directed by Maisie Crow and Abby Peralt. And Maisie Crow has actually had a film in our festival back in 2016 called Jackson. And so we're, again, so happy to welcome back a returning filmmaker. And this film is incredibly important, urgent, and something that everyone should see. It's about the Texas abortion ban, and it's perfect timing just before the election. So we're hopeful that people will join us for that. And we also have a special guest this year joining us. Errol Morris will be back. He joined us for the festival last year with The Pigeon Tunnel, and this year he's joining us with his new film called Separated, which is about family separation at the border. And like I said, he will be there for a Q&A. And just to mention that again, we're so happy that local filmmakers can join us, like Errol Morris. He last year came and was part of the Q&A, and there was a shorts filmmaker who had a film in the festival last year called Nina and Irina, and he was able to meet Errol Morris at the festival, and he showed Errol his short film, and as a result, Errol came on as executive producer. So it's sort of stories like that. I mean, I think festivals are a really special place for people to come and mix and mingle with filmmakers and with other audience, members that love film. And so it's just a really great opportunity to get involved and, see things that you wouldn't see otherwise. A lot of these films won't screen theatrically. Hopefully, some of them will. But we do encourage people to come out. These are all area premieres. So these films have not been screened in Boston before. And so in this case, it's a world premiere. So this is literally the first time you will see this film on the big screen. So
yes,
hopeful.
It's exciting to be in the know, see things that you haven't seen. And Lisa, I'm glad you mentioned that about the closing night film. The timeliness, so many of these films are timely and it just have so much to say. Even though it's a look back at Governor Dukakis' career, it's subtitled Recipe for Democracy. There's a particular relevance for today, I think, in the film. Did you both feel that way? And obviously you did if that's what you titled it.
I mean, we certainly felt like his life in the past is relevant right now, yet today, and there's something really amazing about that, that he, in many ways, was ahead of his time for the things that he advocated for and for the ways that he lived his life or is living his life, taking the T to work and showing everyone that is a high priority, that for us to live together as a community, the more of us who use public transit, the better. As just one of many, many examples in his case. So. But certainly also what prompted him to actually decide to run for the presidency was a situation of law breaking at the highest levels of American government. And so that is unfortunately where we're at today. And yeah, I don't know, Jeff, can you add any?
Well, it's certainly, you had a feeling of deja vu as you were making the film and trying to figure out, how to bring in the present to a story that is rooted so much in the past. It was definitely an interesting process. We started the film before the pandemic, and the pandemic sort of put the brakes on things for a bit. And, I think Erin and I both, felt the need to respond to kind of what had transpired in 2016 and, trying to figure our way of, sort of addressing that and putting out something for consumption for people to talk about and discuss. I will also add that a lot of people with the Recipe for Democracy have probably figured out that turkey soup does make a cameo in this film. And if you go to Dukakisfilm.com, you might find a recipe.
That's so true. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
Who got to sample the soup? Because he invites
We
a
both
taste.
did. It was funny because it was literally just a couple months before the pandemic, and it was also one of those snowstorm mornings where we got there very early, and a lot of the city had kind of shut down, and we were kind of thinking, oh, how are we going to get out of here and not be stuck? But it actually looks pretty good on camera.
We also have Juan Gallego, who we've mentioned, who also plays a part in this film and is in many ways Governor Dukakis' protege. Yeah. Also shared a family soup recipe. He was born in Colombia and moved to the Boston area at age 7 and shares a traditional Colombian stew that his family makes. So, which I have not yet tried, but to do myself. But yeah, so we're hoping to give audience members who are curious, because it is a short documentary. It's not a feature-length film. But if there's ways for you, if you want to learn more, you can come. The website has snapshots from the archive of things that we couldn't fit into the film, and we're hoping to find a way to invite your participation, and maybe you have a particular story or some kind of your own recipe for democracy. We're trying to figure out ways to be a platform for that and a way to share that with each other.
And one of the things that we're really thrilled about, and Lisa, thank you for your partnership and collaboration, to have the world premiere in Brookline, where the governor has spent so much of his life, just feels extra special. And there are definitely moments in the film that he kind of goes down memory lane and takes us around those places that are important in his life.
Yeah, we're so excited.
Brookline High School, and he talks about, and then I love the scene where he goes and meets some students and starts to talk about what it was like in Brookline, which is not the same Brookline as today. Right. What he grew up in. It's a very powerful story he tells.
And for the GlobeDocs screening, we actually have a few bonus scenes. More Brookline, more Brookline, more cowbell. That we'll be sharing at the screening that I think people will enjoy.
And that's another reason to come out for this particular screening, because it's going to be really a special, welcoming hometown screening for Governor Dukakis.
Yes, so it's very Boston, which the festival is, but then we've got so many other, we don't have a lot of time left, but I do want you to mention a couple of the, people think of documentary as always being, issue-oriented and rather dark sometimes, and that is true.
Yes.
But you've also got a couple of lighter fare.
We do. We try to balance, again, trying to, make it so that everyone doesn't walk out of the theater with their head hung low. We have a film on Martha Stewart this year that I'm really excited about. We also have a film about a group of people who have seen extraterrestrials and their experiences with that in upstate New York, and that's a returning filmmaker as well, and that will be part of our online festival. So in addition to the screenings that we have at the Coolidge and Brattle, we also have an online festival that happens concurrent, and that you can purchase tickets at the same on our website. And those are films that will, participate virtually. So from anywhere in the United States, you're welcome to log on and to screen those films. And so that's an example of one of the films. We'll have a couple of shorts programs screening virtually as well. And just one other thing I wanted to mention is this year, for the first time, we have an emerging filmmaker contest that we ran over the summer. And it was a call for filmmakers, young filmmakers between the ages of 18 and 25 to submit an original short film, which we got a lot of entries, and the films were screened by a committee, and we've just selected our winner, and that winner will be shown during our local shorts program at the Brattle on Sunday the 27th. So we're very excited to, encourage the next generation of filmmakers to come forward.
That's wonderful, and I know they need a lot of encouraging. As Erin and Jeff, I'm sure you can
At
attest.
all ages, we need encouragement.
Definitely.
Not for the faint of heart.
No.
And so thank you for what you did, for producing this terrific film that's going to open this festival, because it is not an easy thing to do, as you know, having spent how many years on it?
It was well, we started in 2017, and if I can quickly give a shout out to, there's so many people in Boston's documentary filmmaking community that pitched in to make this project possible. It would not have been possible without so many people who are just top in their field, experts, professional, work with a vast amount of integrity, just like our film subjects. And it was honestly, made the experience exciting and so worthwhile, even though it does take a very long time to get these things together.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you all for joining us for this panel. Jeff Schmidt, Erin Trahan, Lisa Viola, I'm Loren King. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.